Good morning, Cowboy Jim here. Thank you so ever much for tuning in. The last video I did was number 300. I actually have done quite a few more than that. But if I screw up a video by being too emotionally distraught, or, well, 2 videos ago, I screwed up left, right, and center. I I went to refer to Biden and I referred to Putin, and gee, I was quite surprised. I tried to leave a little note at the bottom and say, gee, I sure screwed that up. This is what I meant to say. This is what I said. See, I don't know how to. I don't know how to edit. And, I still haven't found the stupid apostrophe in order to to do words like don't and can't. Of course, I probably shouldn't use those words anyways. We have the privilege and the honor of being somewhat, shall we say, cognitive. We have the mental acuity, most of us. I'm kind of going inclusive here, include myself in that group. And we look around at current events. That's news. When I was a kid, we we called it current events, and actually they are pretty current, and more so now than they were back then, because our news is as it happens around the world. If you happen to have the right contacts. But anyways, I celebrate that previous video, number 300, with my whole heart. I did my first video, posted it on May 9th. I had done it before. Unfortunately, I had been suffering from an abuser who was doing some strange and wonderful things to my food that he insisted on carrying into work. And I was much more stupid than I normally am because I didn't know that I was being drugged. And when I tell people that, geez, I I am looked upon as being truly crazy. And but if someone were a year ago to say that Putin will invade Ukraine again, I mean, Crimea, I'm pretty sure the Crimea was part of the Ukraine not that long ago. But if someone were to say that Putin would invade Ukraine, people would say, "Man, you're crazy." And if people a year ago were to say, a year and a half ago, let's go that, or maybe 2 years, let's use 2 years. If 2 years ago someone were to look into the future a little bit and say the United States of America will seek China's help in tutoring Putin, well, people would have said you're crazy. Well, whether we're crazy or not, at least we can look at the news and say, boy, not not real sure what's going to happen, but pretty sure it's going to happen. And we sure know we can't influence it, not positively, and I guess we can negatively. But I said this 50 videos ago. I said we're living in amazing times. I personally think they're kind of wonderful because we're seeing what is unfolding in real time because of our internet stuff and so on. We still have to sort through what is right, wrong, what is tainted with invalid, unbeneficial perspective. So I actually look forward to going out and sitting down in the backyard on my little lawn chair and having a coffee and a smoke. And I'll do that as soon as we're kind of done this celebratory 301st video. I didn't think, I am not delusional. People may not understand that or believe it, choose to. And perhaps in many ways I am. I mean, I've studied myself for years, and I've studied everyone around me, and so perhaps I am delusional. There was some time ago, I was walking across a room, large room, a lot of people, and I just casually mentioned to the Lord, I said, Father, I wonder, would you be offended if I asked that little lady, I was looking at her, oh my, and, but I was still coming off. No, at that time, I hadn't started being drugged by Kyle Smith. I said his name. It's a reason for that. Because it did happen. But I said to the Lord, I said, would you be offended if I asked that little lady, I said, oh my, she is so beautiful. I said, would you be offended if I ask her on a date? Well, shoot, I've been down at my ranch for so many years. Ranch is gone. Ex-wife's gone. Oh, thank God. And she was gone back then when I asked this. I know as I walked over to her, and God said before I got to her, he said, would you ask her a question for me? I said, I'd be glad to. He said, ask her to marry you. And I thought, well, nothing would please me more. So I did. I'm still single. So let's talk about the, quite possibly I exemplify delusional positive thought, but nonetheless, that's okay. So, 301 videos. Boy, I'll tell you, I have done some terrible videos. I generally try to knock them off the YouTube. I even had YouTube come on one day and knock one off for me. I didn't realize there were certain subjects on YouTube you weren't allowed to talk about. And but I did find out. And so I don't comment on COVID very much. Not much to comment on. Just the way it is. I've tried in all my videos to give you as a people an option and awareness of that option of being at peace with God. I'm no authority on that. I am an authority on my own peace with God because from an experience base, I understand what I did in order to arrive at where I am. And because I am where I am, I don't get very upset about Putin. I don't get very upset about Justin Trudeau. I don't get very upset about Biden, Xi Jinping. Oh, geez, I think I'm getting his name right. China's benevolent leader who kills off his own people like they're nothing. You know why that is? Because in his mind, they are nothing. Any group that he doesn't like, kill him. Oh, Justin Trudeau said the greatest country in the world is China. So you know how much respect I hold Justin Trudeau, Ben. Not a lick. Not a lick. Not a bit. I remember in grade 7, there was a big kid. His last name was Edwards. His dad was a giant. I mean, and his brother Carl Edwards was a hockey player, an athlete, a baseball player. Oh, my word. But Rick Edwards was a bully. And he tried to pick a fight with me. I said, how about if we meet after school? And then we won't screw up school, won't get in trouble. And I said, I'll meet you in front of my place. I mean, he didn't live that far away. And he said, okay. And so I went home, I rummaged through my hockey equipment, and I got out my jock strap and put her on, and I was able to get my pants up, done up, and thought about what else I could do to get ready to fight a bully. Didn't seem like there was much I could do, so I just walked out through my mom's hairdressing salon down the front steps, and well, just wasn't that bully there, and so I just walked up to him, and well, it was so funny. He didn't want to fight then. The problem with Putin, you array yourself against him, and though he is a bully, he believes that he is fulfilling the motherland's need to become world dominant. Well, if Xi Jinping thought he could make that, China wouldn't be helping Putin. But Putin is being played by China because China, they also want to control the world. And so they have gone into the world, done little things like the Silk Road. They have bought every company they can in Canada and US. A year ago, I heard that Chinese Communist Party's army members, a lot of them, were training with Canadian armed forces. I don't know if that's true. When I would see a Canadian bunch of army people in a restaurant stopping for coffee break on the way somewhere, base to base here in Canada, I always tried to cover their coffee bill. And I would make sure that I thanked them for their servitude in our Canadian Army. I never saw any Chinese guys in that, but the great thing is we are a diverse people in Canada. The sad thing is that we are so polite, and yet that's so good. And we vote people into power who should never even have been considered for a dog catcher. We listen to our Prime Minister talk drivel, refer to a third of Canadians, because they say a third of all Canada supported the Freedom Convoy. And we hear Trudeau refer to that self-same group of Freedom Convoy protesters. I had the honor of being down at Coutts for a tiny short bit. What a joy. And we listened to Trudeau refer to swastikas and condemn the Conservative Party. Little Jewish girl, oh, she was choked. I thought she was going to walk right over and drop that Trudeau, that pussy, right on his arse. Oh, I bet she could have. Wonderful woman. So we, forgive me for rambling a little bit, 301. Ooh. I don't know if I have another 100 videos in me. I hope I have a few good ones. And I don't really care about the the numbers. But I hope that God allows me, the privilege of sitting here and honoring Him and encouraging you to consider what Jesus asked. He said, "Who do you say I am?" Well, I guess that's the question. Who do you say that Jesus is? I'll continue asking that question. You will probably get bored by it, but as my old Uncle Jim Marshall, Irishman, North End of Ireland, he said, "Jimmy, people don't call me Jimmy, children. Just my mom and my Uncle Jim Marshall." Jim Marshall said, "Jimmy, there are no atheists in the foxholes of war." I say, well, that there are not too many atheists when the surgeon comes to them and says, "We tried to open you up and remove that cancer, but it's metastasized. It's all over. You have time to put your house in order." I bet not too many atheists on the operating table of life when confronted with that news. So you have a chance, children. What are you going to accomplish? What is going to be your legacy? What do you choose to be remembered for? I set out to do this stuff, trying to give my grandchildren a chance to understand who their old grandpa was. Past tense. I didn't really fully expect that my videos would ever go over, well, they haven't gone over well, but they haven't gone over bad. I think I have about 1,100 subscribers. YouTube, they won't show me. I don't know how to find out. Over 3,400 views. When I look around at other YouTube sites, I think, geez, I've hardly begun. But my subject matter is a bit of a hard sell, because the only time people are going to take time to consider believing in God is when hell is knocking at their door, and hell is knocking at our door, and stuff's about to hit the fan, and we don't know what Putin's going to do. We know the one who holds tomorrow. His name is God. His Son is Jesus. Ponder it, children. Work out your own salvation in fear and trembling before God. You can do it. You have that right to believe what you choose to believe. Assimilate information, not just from restricted perspective. Be open. History, science, math. The Bible, Israel. God bless thee. God bless. Don't be surprised at what Putin will do. God's not surprised. God knows everything. God bless.